Las 8 de la mañana.
A las 8.
Hoy día, 8 a 9.
So 4 hours of work in the morning, then lunch, community lunch, and then 3 hours in the afternoon, and everybody goes back to their houses.
Fuerte, púsalo, fuerte, así, así. Más fuerte, más fuerte. Más fuerte.
Well, I think if I were at sea level, it might be easier, but 12,000 feet is kind of hard.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to make my living this way. I have a deep respect for the workers who have to do this every day.
Manda rápido, más rápido, más rápido.
This bag can weigh up to 150 kilos, about 330 pounds or so. We stitch the top of the bag, and then they are taken out of here early tomorrow morning, so they won't spoil.
Potatoes are exclusively a high-altitude crop of the New World, as is the grain quinoa.
This is real old grain. It's in the Andean culture, right?
Yeah, there are records of quinoa over 3,000 years ago. So one of the earliest grains to be domesticated. It's more than 11% of the grain is proteins, which is much higher than any wheat that is known.
Yeah, or corn.
And they make candy, they make soups.
I know they make flour out of it too.
Yes, that's right. So they make bread and all kinds of things.
In the Andes, it only grows, what, maybe above 12,000 feet or so?
Yes, and it can go up to, I would say, 13 or 14,000 feet.
And that's higher than any other grain.
Yeah, it's very frost resistant.
Casita bonito, en la chacra, casita antigua de abuela.
The preparation of the quinoa is labor intensive, and it's usually viewed as women's work. The stalks have to be stomped, then the grain picked up with all of the crud in it and winnowed. And this will take them all day, again and again lifting it up, letting the wind carry away the chaff, which they serve to their animals, and then again and again until there's no more chaff in it. Then they take it home and they have to wash it in a special wash to get out the soapy element. Then, and only then, can they eat it. Entonces, esta es preparado con ají.
Sí.
This quinoa is the way it looks boiled, but the pieces up here are onion and chili.
3 y 4 platos estoy trayendo.
For 2 to 4 persons, this will make one meal.
The Colca Canyon is not just home to indigenous crops, but also to wild terrain with desert plants and animals so unusual that people come from all over the world to see them.
This place, they call Cruz del Condor, or it's Condor.
Condor.
Condor. They supposedly live down in the valley, and if you get here at the right time of day, you can look down on them. And
Look.
Oh, there's one. Oh,
Look, another one there.
Here they come. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, thank you guys. The condor has the greatest wingspan of any flying bird in the world.
Yeah, I think it's over 3 meters, right?
Yeah. It's hard to believe if I'm almost 6 feet, so add almost 2 of me and you got a wingspan of a condor. They identify by sight, and up to 2 miles away, they can see, for instance, a rabbit. Their vision is the greatest of any bird, but they also have an acute sense of smell.
Los cóndores están en esta zona porque es un santuario del cóndor.
The condors are in this area because it is a preserve for them, where the condors know they are safe, so they build their nests here. We estimate there are around 30 birds. Their wingspan ranges from 8 to 9 feet wide from tip to tip. The condors live here year-round. it is the only condor preserve in the world.
Pero antes, cuando no se veían
Before,
los turistas,
all the tourists started to visit the area. The condors were taken for granted. There was even a time when they were threatened with extinction.
los cóndores lo valoramos.
Now, we value the condors, not just the ones here, but also the ones found in the mountains.
Como un dios, entonces los incas clasifican.
The condor was considered a god called Caipachac in Quechua. They named their three gods, Ucupacha, the underground god represented by the snake, Anacpacha, the god of the earth represented by the mountain lion, and Caipachac, the god of the sky, represented by the condor.
Como Dios, el cóndor.
You see them fly, and you understand why so many cultures took the condor as such a powerful symbol. You know, they're represented in pottery and rock art and their textiles. And you know, even today, the word Malku in Aymara means condor, but also means the chief, the authority, and also means a mountain or ancestor.
Well, that's about as high as you can get. That's a big compliment.
Yeah, so it's this symbol for authority and for mountain.
Right, here comes, all right, here comes a male. Okay, he's just below us, and he's probably going to pick up the thermal. Here, take a look.
Okay.
Yeah. And they control their flight with those feathers at the tips of the wings, just like and airplanes with the movement of flaps.
They
can go
barely
up and
move
down.
their wings.
They barely move their wings, and that's why they like the thermals, because they can soar until they see the prey. Okay, here, take it. It's right down, about straight now below. There, you can see the white. See the white. There it goes.
Okay. I heard they live about 17 years, just like a human being.
I didn't know they lived that long. Is that right?
You know, condors are a real concern for herders because they feed on the young llamas during the summer.
There's a pair of them. There's three of them. There's actually I haven't seen three of them together before. Coming back, and now okay, now below the other one. There's two of them together. Yeah, let me get that. Now turning. See if I can do this without flying over backwards. Yeah, that's that male. He must be 3,000 or 4,000 feet above us now. Barely see it. Oh, God. That's the most magnificent bird I've ever seen. It's just majestic. That's all you can say.
The people of Colca Canyon have worked hard to protect the Andean condor. Due to their isolation, their way of life has changed little since pre-Incan times, despite increasing numbers of tourists. Most people here prefer to keep it that way.
Now, the tourist literature says that the Colca Canyon is the deepest canyon in the world.
There is a dispute between the Cotahuasi and the Colca as to which one is the deepest, right?
Yeah, you can never settle the point because it depends on where you measure from. I mean, they say it's deeper than the Grand Canyon. If you measure from the top of the 20,000-foot peaks up here down to the bottom, which is probably about 7,000 feet, it is. It's terrific, but you got to take into consideration the Chamber of Commerce effect.